Hi everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and sometimes mind-boggling side of tech. I'm your GTA Online addict, Ray McNeal. Serious, I've been playing it for like 2 years and I can't get enough of it. Coming up on the program today, a planet-eating star shows our solar system's future. Apple's new solar-powered spaceship office is nearly complete. And coming up on this week's What the? A man blows $1.5 million on cars, strippers, and cocaine after a computer glitch. All that and much more coming up on your weekly tech update next. Hi everyone. Here's something that's easy to forget when you're chatting on your cell phone or flipping channels on your smart TV. Although wireless communication seems nothing short of magic, well, it's a brilliant, reality-based application of physics and engineering in which radio signals travel from a transmitter to a receiver in the form of electric and magnetic fields woven into faster-than-light electromagnetic waves. Those very same physics impose some strict limits, including ones that frustrate the Department of Defense. Radio frequency signals hit veritable and literal walls when they encounter materials like water, soil, and stone. That's pretty much why scuba buddies rely on sign language, and there are radio dead zones inside tunnels and caves. With this newly announced mechanically based antenna, they named it that so they could simply call it Amoeba, the program manager Troy Olson of DARPA's Microsystems Technology Office is betting on a little exploited aspect of electromagnetic physics that could expand wireless communications and data transfer into undersea, underground, and other settings where such capabilities essentially have been absent. The basis for these potential new abilities are ultra-low frequency, ULF, electromagnetic waves, ones between hundreds of hertz and 3 kilohertz, which can penetrate some distance into media like water, rock, and soil, even metal. A nearby band of very low frequency signals, that's 3 kilohertz to about 30 kilohertz, opens additional communication possibilities because of these wavelengths. The atmospheric corridor between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere behaves like a radio waveguide in which the signals can propagate halfway around our planet. If the research is successful, scuba divers could be able to use ULF channels for low bitrate communications, like text messages to communicate with each other or with nearby submarines, ships, relay buoys, UAVs, or ground-based assets. Through ground communication with people in deep bunkers, mines, or caves could also be possible through this tech. And because of that atmospheric waveguide effect, VLF systems might ultimately enable direct soldier-to-soldier text and possibly even voice communications across continents or even oceans. Now, why aren't we using this technology already? It's been used before, but normally the lower in frequency you go, the slower the transmission is, and more power is needed. Case in point, a VLF antenna that the Navy built on a remote peninsula in Cutler, Maine, in the heat of the Cold War, just to send a little trickle of data to submarines, is gargantuan. It occupies 2,000 acres, features 26 towers, and some of them as much as 1,000 feet high, and it operates with megawatt levels of power. With the Amoeba program, Olson aims to develop entirely new types of VLF and ULF transmitters that are significantly smaller, lighter, and more power efficient so that they could be carried by individual warfighters, whether they're on land, in water, or even underground. In this week's astronomy news, some 300 light years away, there's a star that's very similar to our own. And it shows that our sun could devour its planets that get a bit too close. A team of astronomers who've been monitoring star HIP 68468 for years now have revealed the star's planet ingesting past in a new study. What clued them in? is its lithium content. It's 4 times that of what you'd expect from a star that's 6 billion years old. Stars typically burn through their lithium content over time, so the element's abundance, coupled with the presence of heat-resistant metals commonly found in rocky worlds, can only be explained by the consumption of planets. It's as if we saw a cat sitting next to a bird cage, Yale University professor Deborah Fisher, who's not involved in the study, said. If there are yellow feathers sticking out of the cat's mouth, well, it's a good bet that the cat swallowed the canary. The team saw enough lithium and rocky planet material on HIP to form 6 Earths. That said, the scientists believe it still has at least a couple planets left. One is a massive Neptune, while the other is, quote, a super Earth. Since the star is very similar to our own, this discovery shows us how solar systems like ours could evolve over time. Before you panic, though, take note that we're not getting sucked into an enormous ball of fire anytime soon. Based on the team's computer simulations, it will take billions of years of gravitational pull before that happens. Besides, Mercury and Venus are bound to go first. If you loved my first story about radio frequencies and thought to yourself, that wasn't nearly enough geek speak about wireless, well, then you're in luck. And you're like me and you will want to watch the Ben Heck Show and their essential series about wireless communications. Ben Heck walks you through the entire frequency range, and it really is fascinating if you actually want to know more about Wi-Fi, XB, Bluetooth, mobile networks, RFID, and NFC. If not, well then, nothing to see here. Move along, please. Japanese Airlines wants to turn used clothing into jet fuel. Japan's flag carrier and the nation's second largest airplane company is working with recycling firm Japan Environmental Planning, better known as JEPLAN, and Tokyo's Green Earth Institute to establish a collaborative council that could place the alternative energy source in trials as early as 2020. JEPLAN already works with 12 retailers to collect used garments at some 1,000 stores across Japan. The technology uses fermentation to break down the sugars contained in cotton and turn it into alcohol. JEPLAN will be building an experimental fuel plant at one of its factory locations. The company says it plans to be in test flights using a blend of conventional and cotton-derived fuel in 2020 before establishing a commercial plant by 2030. Cotton-derived fuel isn't a cure-all for peak oil, of course. 100 tons of cotton yields about 10 kiloliters of fuel, or roughly about 2,600 gallons. When a plane like a Boeing 747 uses 1 gallon every second, that's not gonna go very far. Since the technology can also be applied to other types of waste, including paper, clothing may only be the beginning. In fact, we could very well see a car in the future that runs off of garbage, just like the one in Back to the Future. Who knows, by then, it may very well fly as well.